They say an apple fell, and suddenly the world changed forever. But what if I told you that moment wasn't luck? It was the result of isolation, obsession, and a mind that refused to rest. This is not just the story of gravity. This is the story of a man who almost disappeared into darkness before becoming one of the greatest scientific minds in human history. This is the story behind the glory, the story of Isaac Newton. Isaac Newton wasn't born into greatness. In fact, he wasn't expected to survive at all. Born prematurely on Christmas Day in 1643 in rural Woolsthorpe, Newton was so small and weak that people doubted he would live. His father had already died before he was born, and when Isaac was just 3 years old, his mother left him. She remarried and moved away, leaving young Newton to be raised by his grandparents. Imagine that, a child, abandoned, isolated, growing up feeling unwanted. That loneliness didn't just shape him emotionally, it shaped the way he saw the world. Newton wasn't popular, he wasn't charismatic, he wasn't athletic, but he was curious, intensely curious. He would spend hours alone building mechanical models, studying nature, and asking questions no one else seemed to care about. Why does the wind blow? Why do objects fall? Why does light behave the way it does? When he later attended University of Cambridge, he didn't immediately stand out, but something was brewing. A mind quietly preparing to explode with ideas. Then came a turning point, a crisis. In 1665, a deadly outbreak of the Great Plague of London forced Cambridge University to shut down. Newton had no choice but to return home. Back to isolation, back to Woolsthorpe. But this time, something different happened. Instead of being held back by loneliness, he used it. Over the next 2 years, his annus mirabilis, Newton developed ideas that would change the world forever. Calculus, optics, and yes,
gravity.
While the world was in chaos, Newton was unlocking the laws of the universe. You've probably heard the story. An apple falls from a tree, and Newton suddenly discovers gravity. But the truth is deeper. The apple didn't give him the answer. It triggered a question. Why does the apple fall straight down? Why not sideways? Why not upward? That simple observation led Newton to a revolutionary idea. The same force pulling the apple is the same force keeping the moon in orbit. A single law, governing both Earth and the heavens. That idea became the foundation of classical physics. Newton didn't just stop at gravity, he went further. He defined the laws of motion, the principles that explain how everything moves, from a rolling ball to a speeding car, to planets orbiting the sun. These ideas were published in his work, Principia. It wasn't just a book. It was a blueprint of the universe. For the first time in history, the chaos of motion was explained with mathematical precision. Newton made the universe predictable. But here's what most people don't tell you. Newton's brilliance came with a cost. He was deeply private, often paranoid, and he struggled with relationships. At one point, he suffered a mental breakdown. He withdrew from society and lived in intense emotional turmoil. The same mind that unlocked the universe was also battling its own storms. Greatness often comes with a price. Despite his struggles, Newton rose to incredible heights. He became president of the Royal Society. He was knighted, becoming Sir Isaac Newton, and his work laid the foundation for modern science. Centuries later, scientists like Albert Einstein would build on his ideas. But even Einstein himself admitted, he stood on the shoulders of giants, and one of those giants was Newton. So what's the lesson? Greatness doesn't always come from perfect beginnings. Sometimes it comes from isolation, from pain, from relentless curiosity. Isaac Newton wasn't just a genius, he was a reminder that even in your quietest, loneliest moments, you might be shaping something that could change the world. If this story inspired you, subscribe to The Story Behind the Glory, because behind every legend, there's a struggle you've never heard, and that struggle might just be the key to your own story.